NAPSO was the first organization of the statewide law enforcement coalition that has been working to pass Question 1. We joined this effort because we believe it will help to reduce gun violence and save lives in Nevada. Studies have shown that states with more expansive background check requirements have less gun trafficking, less domestic violence against women, and less aggravated assaults against women. And this is very important as we recognize October as the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. An investigation of online gun buyers shows that nearly 1 in 11 people shopping for a gun online in Nevada without a background check has a criminal record that prohibits them from buying a gun under federal law, such as a conviction for a felony or domestic abuse. As a representative of law enforcement officers, I know that they are obligated to do all they can to protect the public's safety, the public's interests, and the public's rights. Passing Question 1 is not only improves public safety, but it also will help keep our police officers safe. The claims by those opposed to Question 1 that will infringe upon their Second Amendment rights are fallacies. The United States Supreme Court has stated that the Second Amendment right is not unlimited. Long-standing prohibitions on the possession of firearms by felons, domestic abusers, and the mentally ill are presumptively lawful. That's what the United States Supreme Court has said. They are law, and as are laws imposing qualifications on the commercial sales of guns. Closing the loophole to make it harder for criminals to get guns will make our state safer. And with that, let me introduce Ray Stiver, retired homicide lieutenant for Las Vegas Metro.
And good morning, and thank you everyone for coming. As a homicide lieutenant, I've seen firsthand what happens when guns end up in the wrong hands. I personally had to sit with too many families that have been devastated by senseless gun violence. Right now, it's far too easy for criminals to get guns in private sales that don't require background checks. They can just go online, meet up with a stranger in a parking lot, and get a gun with no background checks, no questions asked. That doesn't make our community safer. Teresa?
Good morning. During my 25 years as a prosecutor in the Clark County District Attorney's Office, I saw time and again that it is far too easy for domestic abusers in Nevada to get guns without background checks. Our state has the 5th highest rate of domestic violence in the nation. I prosecuted too many senseless domestic violence shootings that devastated families and left children without parents. In Nevada, women are 65% more likely to be shot and killed by their intimate partners than in other states. Together, we can do something to change this devastating statistic. Together, we can protect families and save lives. By voting yes on Question 1, we can make a difference. Voting yes on Question 1 is such an important public safety initiative that my husband, a career law enforcement officer, and I joined other members from our profession in the Law Enforcement Coalition for background checks. We career law enforcement professionals know that no one law will stop domestic violence or gun violence, but passing Question 1 will save lives. And if we save even one life, spare even one family, the pain, heartbreak, and devastation of losing a loved one, then we will make a difference. In the 18 states with similar laws, there are 46% fewer women shot and killed by their intimate partners. We can be the next state to see that reduction and save lives. Julie Proctor, Executive Director of Safe House.
Thank you for having us here today. As it's been stated before, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so it is very important that we get this message out to everybody in the community. As working for Safe House, we work on the front lines of domestic violence, and unfortunately we see way too many families devastated by domestic violence, particularly involving guns. We've learned that we've heard the statistics, but I work with people behind those statistics, real people with real stories. I'd like to share one of those stories today. This is a story about a woman by the name of Christina Franklin. Christina is why passing Question 1 is so important. We can't prevent every tragedy, but if we can make it harder for people like Christina's killer to get a gun, we should do it. It may save many, many lives in the future. On May 5th, 2016, Travis Spittler shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, Christina Franklin, and shot and injured their 2 children, a 4-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl, outside of the Children's Daycare Center before shooting and killing himself. Spittler should not have been able to buy a gun. He was prohibited by law from possessing firearms due to his history of domestic violence against Christina. But the background check loophole in Nevada made it easy for him to buy the gun used to kill Christina from a stranger in an unlicensed state without a background check. Around 6:30 a.m., Spittler confronted Christina outside of their children's daycare center as she was dropping the children off in the morning. After a brief argument, Spittler shot Christina twice in the back, then he turned the gun on their 3-year-old daughter, shooting her once in the leg, and their 4-year-old son, shooting him once in the shoulder. Spittler then shot Christina again in the back of the head as she lay on the ground before shooting himself in the head. Christina was pronounced dead at the scene. Both children were taken to a local hospital with serious injuries but survived and were released the following week. Spittler was pronounced dead at the scene. On December 26, 2015, Spittler was arrested after repeatedly kicking Christina in the side of the head until she lost consciousness. He was charged with several counts of domestic violence, including domestic violence battery with substantially bodily harm, a felony. The felony indictment prohibited him from buying or having guns under the federal and Nevada law. The following incident, Christina moved out. Just following the incidents, Christina moved out and applied for an order of protection against Spittler. The court issued a temporary order on January 12, 2016, and at a court hearing on February 8, Christina was granted an extended order of protection. The extended order also prohibited Spittler from buying or possessing guns under the federal and state law. Spittler got the gun because of the background check loophole. According to an investigation reported by the North Las Vegas Police Department, Spittler purchased a .357 caliber revolver used in the shooting from an unidentified, unlicensed seller in Las Vegas on March 25, 2016, even though he was prohibited from buying or having guns. The seller was apparently knowledgeable about the state's gun law. He told police that because of changes to Clark County law in 2015, he did not conduct a sale at the Las Vegas police station, which we encourage everybody to do. Instead, he asked Spittler if he was ever convicted of a felony, and if he'd ever been in trouble with the law. Of course, Spittler lied, answered no to both questions, and the seller sold the weapon to Spittler. Had question 1 been a law in Nevada, the seller would have been required to meet Spittler at a licensed gun dealer for a background check, which Spittler would have failed and may have never gotten the gun used in the Christina's murder. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Al Salinas, retired Deputy Chief, Las Vegas Metro. I spent years working violent crime, first as a first responder on the street, and then as eventually a division commander, which oversaw homicide and the gang crimes unit. Within the gang crimes unit, at one point in our history, we recovered over 365 firearms in 1 year. These firearms, some of them were stolen, some of them had obliterated serial numbers, and some of them were all prohibited individuals. And one of the things that we like to think about is the fact that we took off 365 guns, and hopefully we saved 365 lives. Because those guns were going to end up in the hands of violent individuals that should never have had their hands on them. I can tell you that one of the things that has changed over the years has been the easy access to firearms on the internet. Today, criminals utilize the internet more and more, not only for their crimes as far as fraud and forgery, but also to acquire firearms from individuals, private individuals that are selling those firearms, where they don't require a background check, a criminal background check. They go online, no background checks are conducted. What we need to do is pass question 1 to shut down this segment of the black market, to stop criminals from getting those guns. And we also understand that, we understand, all of us do, that one law isn't going to prevent every single crime, but it's one step towards protecting our community even further. That's why question 1 has broad support across the state from thousands of police officers and domestic violence prevention advocates like Julie. Those of us here today, and thousands more, like I said, across the state, understand that passing question one will make a difference. Passing question one will save lives.